plaintiff, Deborah Leroy, has struggled with an addiction for over 30 years, and the defendant, who is her nephew, often supplied her with drugs. Deborah claims she's been clean and sober for just over a year, and she's suing for breach of contract. Defendant Anthony Guy says Deborah lost everything to heroin and crack, and she once spent over $10,000 in 4 months on drugs. Anthony's countersuing Deborah for emotional distress.
Start with you.
Your Honor, I've fought a substance abuse problem for way over 30 years. I started doing cocaine in the late 70s, escalated to crack cocaine, and
when?
In the 80s.
How long did that last?
Till about a year ago. My drug of choice became heroin. I've way paid consequences of my use. I've been in and out of jail. I've been to substance abuse programs, but I just was not, I just hadn't had enough, I guess, until August of 2017, and I've been clean ever since.
All right, well, I'm glad you have rehabilitated, and continued success to you.
Thank you. And, you know, on the other hand, you know, during my substance abuse, my nephew, he did used to supply me drugs, and there was a time when him and I got high together. We moved into a place in July of 2017. He took me to rehab. I relapsed within 2 weeks, and I went back.
How long was your rehab?
9 days. I went back, and I asked them if they would keep me there because they started me on the Suboxone. And I needed to be off of that for 10 days in order to start the opiate blocker naltrexone, and they did that for me. Okay. And so
you take it now, still?
No, I've been off of it for 2 months. I took it for over a year.
Okay. Did it reduce urges altogether?
Yes,
cravings?
Sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. And your nephew, you all would get high together from time to time?
Not in years.
All right. Has he changed his life to your knowledge?
Yes, sir.
Good. What is your knowledge of his change?
He has a 5-year-old daughter, Zoe.
How long has he been clean to your knowledge?
A long time.
Okay, good. Let me hear from you, sir.
Hi, my name is Anthony. This is my aunt.
All right.
And she lost everything to heroin and crack. In 2017, February 2017, she got $23,000 for selling her house. In June 2017, she had half of the money, and
she had only spent half?
She had spent half of it.
Okay, well, she wasn't on crack.
Yeah, well, she's doing both of them.
Okay. You know, crack, 20,000 don't last no 5 months.
Don't last that long, you're right, but she was doing both of them.
Okay.
And I found out, because I didn't talk to her from the time she sold her house until leading up to June, but I found out that she had been sleeping here, sleeping there, you know, doing, you know, so I thought at that time I would help her help me take care of my daughter that I had custody of. So I took her to rehab. I picked her up from rehab. We went and signed a house together, and
for rent?
For rent. We signed a house together. And every day I'd come home from work, she ain't never have no energy, you know, and my daughter was in Detroit, you know, I can't bring her to this situation. So basically she told me that she wasn't leaving, so I ended up and I had to leave.
You all from Detroit?
I'm from Lansing.
Okay. Well, they're doing a whole lot of heroin in Detroit. How long have you been off drugs?
I've been off drugs like 15 years.
Good. All right. And what have you been doing since that time?
I've been working.
Okay. How about helping other people who are on drugs? Anything there?
I mean, I don't do the stuff I used to do.
No, I'm saying others. You got a lot of people you left behind. What I'm trying to say is that you should help others. Just don't feel proud about yourself.
Right.
Go back and help the other people. Go ahead, ma'am. Tell me what the $1,500 is for.
Your Honor, I had paid, we had gotten a house together, and I had paid $3,000 for us to rent this house together.
When was that?
In July of 2017. his daughter at the time was in Detroit at his father's house. So she never did come to the house at the point of my relapse. She wasn't there yet. So when I did relapse, after I relapsed, his truck, the transmission went out. So he needed $1,500 on top of the $3,000 that I just put out for the house to fix his truck. I loaned him the $1,500 with a promissory note that he would pay me $50 a week for 30 weeks until paid. And he didn't.
Okay, let me see what you have there.
Thank you.
The last time you asked for your money, what has he said, and when was that?
It was a month ago. I live on a small widow's pension, and I was trying to get my car legalized, and I needed $50 to get my license tags. And he told me that I need to get a doctor to get some Vicodin so that I could sell them to make money. And and I was like, right, that's just what
Telling a drug addict to go and
get a doctor to sell Vicodin.
You can tell he ain't never sold drugs. All right, he was just a crackhead, never been a crack dealer. That's the first rule, don't use your own product. And for him to advise you that, he don't know nothing about the game, zero.
Yeah, not a good idea.
Zero, he know about the other side of the game. But he don't know nothing about that side of the game. All right, sir, let me hear from you on that. She says you advised her to sell the same drug that she's addicted to and thought she would make some money.
Okay.
Tell you was just pulling her leg. I'm sure you knew better than that. Go ahead.
When she came back from rehab, she gave me that money, and I did have the intention to pay her back that money. But when she put me in that bind to where, here it is, I got to figure out what to do with my daughter when we done.
How did she put you in a bind?
Because I took her to rehab. I went looking for a place for us to live. And the only reason that we got a place was because of me. It wasn't because she had money. They want to know where the money gonna keep coming from. I got a job.
Okay.
Like I told her, if we get into this place, I'm gonna take care of everything. The only thing I don't want you to do is get high. She wasn't in there no longer than a week. She in there getting high.
Okay, and that's what you mean by putting you in the bind.
Right, I had to abandon ship.
Got it.
You know, so, I mean, my daughter was wondering why she couldn't come home. I couldn't tell a 4-year-old that, you know, the reason she couldn't come home, so.
How do you know she was getting high there? Tell me what
I came home from lunch, because I was coming home, I worked the night shift. I'd come home in the daytime, and she ain't got no energy. I got a witness statement.
You say you saw her getting high.
She was bent over in the bathroom naked with a crack pipe, and nodded out. She was doing both.
Crack and heroin at the same time. That'll kill you quick.
So she told because I had decided if she leave, I was gonna keep try to keep the house. But she said she wasn't leaving. So that's why I didn't pay her, because I had to, at that time, I had to go figure out where me and my daughter was going, because her time was up in Detroit. I had to, figure out where me and my daughter was gonna live. The house that we was gonna live in, we couldn't live in because she wasn't leaving.
All right, sir. Your counterclaim for $1,500 for emotional distress, what's that for?
I had to stay in motel rooms behind that. I had to bring my daughter back for 2 months until I could find a place, because, my background ain't all, everybody just ain't gonna rent it. Just because you got a job, they ain't gonna just rent to you. So it took me a little bit of time to find somewhere
because
to move.
She put you in that jam, you're saying. Ma'am, what do you say to this? He says you put him in a jam that caused him emotional distress, caused him to lose the place and everything.
He was in emotional distress before I spent the $3,000 to get the house that he told me that I needed to move out of.
Okay.
He was sleeping in his truck prior to the month that I spent the $3,000 while his daughter was at her grandpa's house.
Okay, we're talking about a new amount of emotional distress, though. So let's deal with that new emotional distress he said you caused him. Because now you're saying he already had some, and then you threw some on top. So let's talk about what you threw on top. Did you all come to an agreement to share a residency and split the rent?
No, he was going to pay the rent, and I was going to watch.
I was gonna pay everything.
Okay, so how did she put you in a jam?
She was getting high. I couldn't bring my daughter to that
Well, you
situation.
just kick her out.
She wouldn't leave. The landlord said that she wouldn't leave. We signed a lease together. When she came back from rehab,
Y'all signed a lease that you would pay 100%?
no, I told her verbally I was gonna pay for everything.
All right, well, this is a mistake you made, sir. How you gonna sign a lease with somebody and they don't pay a dime? You're gonna put their name on something and they're not putting a dime in. All right, that was a slick move there. That was good.
Well, he
You
didn't pay-
outplayed him.
Yeah, but he didn't pay
you should
anything.
know, a recent dope fiend is not slicker than an old dope fiend. All right, you better go back and get some of the game you dropped. You know, when you've been in the game, you don't drop your books or lose your lesson. You got to stay fresh. How you think I know the game? I don't drop my books or lose my lesson. I know fresh dope fiends. I know fresh street guys. So I talk with them, advise them against it, but I also get the game while I'm advising them.
Can I say something?
Yes.
I told her if she get this house, I'm gonna pay all the bills. She got the house, but I told her she can't be getting high while we sign our name on this house.
Oh, and you said, that's gonna work. Yeah, I don't even believe he was a dope fiend, man. I mean, he couldn't have been, or he's forgotten all of the rules. You gonna rely on the word of somebody you know was a drug addict.
That's my
Why would
aunt.
you rely on? Oh, because it's your aunt.
I tried to help her.
Oh, okay.
I tried to help her help.
All right. Pay this $1,500, sir. Your counterclaim is dismissed. She put a little game on you and you went for the game, that's all. Judgment for the plaintiff, your claim is dismissed. Counterclaim.
I would like for him to know that I have changed my life around.
Change my
And I am doing a lot better.
change my
Um,
I got my daughter, don't I? I'm taking care of my daughter, ain't it?
Yeah, you are.
Yeah,
and
I
it's
am.
a shame that you
Yeah.
have to pull her between you and I.
I don't care about you, I care about her. Man, who cares about all that? You gave away $23,000 on your house.
Not to you.
Yeah, to the dope man, you right.